with a vision to make information accessible in easy and personalized manner to help any aspirants find a right fit college and pursue their dream career without being overwhelmed by too much of information or lack of awareness. It's best to say that surely the brand speaks for itself. A decision to affiliate with Foreign Admits has proven to be very valuable, and it gives me an immense honor and pleasure to welcome the two most spectacular members of Foreign Admits here on behalf of our college. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Nikhil Jain, the co-founder of Foreign Admits, and Mr. Nikhil is a researcher turned entrepreneur. He belonged to a middle class family and had an average academic background, but still got into IIT BHU. From a gold medalist topper to PhD dropout, he took a leap of faith for his passion in enabling world to have quality education and saving environment. He is working endlessly to ensure that aspirants get admitted in the dream universities to have a brighter career. Till date, he has managed to send over 100 applicants to top universities. We also have our guest speaker, Mr. Priyank Tuli. He is an experienced service supervisor with a demonstrated history of working with the restaurants industry. He holds a skilled background in Microsoft Word, event management, public speaking, management, and leadership. He is also a strong support professional with a master's degree focused in international business from Queens University Belfast. Now, I will request them to start the session.
Perfect. Very much of a thank you, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome to the session, and really thankful to you, all of you guys, for the college authorities to conduct this webinar. And this webinar is going to be more like an engaging session where we'll be talking about, the study abroad profiles, prospects, how you can study abroad at a good university, how your research is going to, get impacted, and a bunch of those things. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of update, what Foreign Admits does, we are building an international students mentorship community where any of your students, who are confused or wanted to know more about, how to go abroad, what are the things that you should prepare for your profile to get into a top university. What you can do is easily come to the platform, find out a bunch of great mentors like Priyank and many more, and speak to them directly on a one-to-one basis and get guidance. Okay, so that's a kind of a platform that we have. But let's start the webinar. Okay, so talking about study abroad, we would be covering the webinar in 3 to 4 stages. I'll be giving you a little bit of brief overview about what and all prospects that you have in 2020 as per study abroad. Okay, then what are the factors that goes into building a strong profile for research-based courses. Then I'll be introducing to the guest speaker right now here, Priyank, who will be taking care of studying in UK, how was his experience, and whole sort of things. And then we'll be opening up for direct Q&A. So have all the questions mentioned in the chat, okay? And then we will answer those questions. In the meanwhile, we have prepared some exclusive giveaways for all of the students, and this giveaway will be shared during the webinar. So stay tuned, don't leave your seat. Let's have the interaction started. So when we talk about study abroad, the first thing that comes into the mind is it's an expensive education. Second is, how am I going to get a job there? The third is, will I be able to qualify for a good university? Because majority of the top Indian universities comes beyond 150 ranks across the world. Like IITs and IIMs, and IIM still comes in a better ranking, but IITs come in 150 plus. So how do we as a general profile can still manage to study at a good university? Okay, so those are the questions that comes into any of the aspirants' mind. When I was studying in IIT BHU, it was a similar feeling which I had. Okay? So all matters in the end is your profile good enough to get into a good university? But that's a very, very broad question to answer. Let's break down what a good profile looks like. Okay, So from my understanding, a good profile would have decent CGPA, okay, a good test score like GRE, GMAT if you're going for aptitude testing, TOEFL, IELTS, and other English proficiency tests. Okay. The other thing that we look at is your projects. Okay, any admission committee would look into what kind of projects have you done. Is it a live project or is it related to what you want to do? The kind of internships that you have done. If you have done job also, then what kind of work experience you have, what is the promotionals looks like in that. So yeah, these are the bunch of things that you look at. Unfair advantage factors could be a publication, okay, conference publication or journal publications or a patent. So those are the unfair advantage factors that can give you a great boost. But overall, these are the things that will help you build up your profile, which is like a 1 to 4 years of journey or 1 to 3 years of journey of your college days. Okay. The other thing that goes into building your profile or representing is your statement of purpose, your letters of recommendations, the essays that you're gonna be writing during your applications, and your resume outlook. So whatever you have done is actually being expressed in an appropriate and professional manner to the admission committee, giving that you are the right fit candidate for that very course, and that very college and the course will help you build a better career or future going ahead. So those are the things that help you to get into a good college. If anyone says anything extraordinary, I don't think you should believe that. A candidate with average profiles also have gotten into amazing colleges, and candidate with great profiles with a bad application even not get an admit. So that's how it works. It's overall profile building. It's how you represent, how you write in those applications, how you do the interviews. Those things will matter also. Okay. So yeah, this is a very, very capsule-sized information that I've given to you. Going ahead, when we learn from Priyank how was his experience, we'll have more further discussions on each and individual aspects, how he got through, and probably some input from my side. To give you a little bit academic background of mine, I studied at IIT BHU in India, and then I happened to got 3 funded PhD offers from Canada, from the US and Australia, and I moved to Australia to do my PhD, and then I studied for maths. Okay, so now it's a great time. The stage is all set. You might be having a lot of questions, and if you're planning to study abroad, okay, I would ask you a simple question. You need to just write it in the chat. If you're planning to study abroad, what are your doubts, the major doubts that you feel that you haven't been able to find the answers of? Okay, just write those questions in the chat section, and we will definitely take up those questions during the sessions or at the end of the sessions. Okay, so welcome to Priyank.
Hello. Yeah. Am I audible
Hi
now?
Priyank.
I'm visible. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too.
Great. So Priyank, let's do in a very, very quick format, so people have gotten a little bit of idea about yours, but I would want you to give a little bit details about your profile. Where do you come from? Where are you at? How was your journey? Like a 5-7 minutes journey.
Okay, for sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Priyank, and I'm from Odisha. So, I completed my senior secondary higher education from Odisha, and then I completed my bachelor's in commerce from University of Delhi. I guess something is wrong. Yeah, that's fine. So I completed my education, like my bachelor's in commerce from Delhi University, and then I recently am a master student in Queens University Belfast. And so the thing is, I have completed the whole course. It's just like 1 month left for my course, and this is the period which I'm like properly giving to my dissertation. And apart from that, side by side, I'm also working as a part-time student, as a part-time worker. And the whole basis of my whole journey is that I've been a student of management background from the very start. my 10th and my 10th from 10th onwards, I started, like, I had an inclination towards economics. I completed that, and I was like, I had a talk with my parents that this is the thing which I actually want to do. And to be very honest, there was some certain kind of influence of my father too, because he is from a business background. So I was certainly like inclined towards business, and that made me intrigued about it. Okay, let's see how what is accounts, because I've heard a lot about it, but I didn't know how like everything goes in that. I went on to pursue my commerce. I completed it and got a decent grade, and then tried to get into a good university, and luckily I got into Delhi University, which I guess, as I'm like right now with all the students who are, majority of the students I guess are from Delhi University. So it would be like sharing my personal opinion with them, and they will be able to get it very well, because they have been from the same background, they have been from the same university, so they know how it works and what are the basic challenges they need, like they will be facing in future while going for abroad studies.
Coming to the abroad studies dilemma, what was the trigger, or when did you find out that you might have to go for an abroad education? What was your reasoning behind that?
See, my basic concept was, if I'm into business, why to just think about a business which is like it's only about domestic geographical area business. Why not to think about something which can actually help me out to understand the international or the globalized business? And for that, it's not easy. It's okay. It's good to understand everything from a domestic area, but when you go out of your comfort zone, and when you go out of your comfort zone, go out somewhere, study, you're able to also understand on also explore the same thing in a practical view. So I was my trigger was, if I want to pursue something which will help me out to understand the global nature of the business, I would basically focus on something which will also allow me to like feel it practically, feel it, like I should have an experience towards that. And that triggered me, like, okay, let's pursue this thing outside rather than being in India and pursuing the same thing.
Okay, interesting. So once you've decided, okay, I want to study abroad, particular college or field. So what kind of test preps or what kind of process that you've gone through? Because a lot of students freak out about, okay, if I'm going for management, MBA is the only chance. Or
Yeah,
if I go for, abroad, then GRE and GMAT are
for the only chance.
the only thing that I have to prepare for. Okay.
Yeah,
So what's your experience there?
I think so. Like it matters, and it is totally different for each and every student. Like for me, for an example, if I'm a Delhi University, I didn't apply for GRE, because what matters is how have you made sure that your SOP or your activities are so vibrant that universities without your GRE also are able to allow you to come in. That's the whole thing. My whole preparation, it starts with refining your whole mindset that, okay, this is the thing which I want to start. If I want to go outside and study, you need to make up your mind that this is the only thing which I'm right now looking on to. And apart from that, you can do your leisure activities, but back at the back of the mind, it should be always there that, okay, I want to go out. And the refining process starts by actually before 1 year. It's like when you are in your second year, you should make sure that you're able to understand, like you're able to know the general knowledge about what colleges are there, what do they give, what is the like best college, what is the best school, because the colleges are good, but what is the best school is the most important factor. Go on, the application process starts a little bit late, but for first thing, I would suggest my preparation was starting on from the second year of my college to understand which are the good colleges to focus on, and then moving on to the next step.
Okay. So yeah, once you have decided, okay, this is the kind of set of colleges, a rough set of colleges that I would go for. Okay, and then what kind of exams did you give? Did you give any exam as such to go?
I gave. It's like there were different. Like I had options of giving IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE. I chose PTE because I was also eyeing for New Zealand, not just United Kingdom. So there are few differences, because there are few countries which only allow, few universities which only allow you as per PTE. So I wanted to keep my sections and varieties open, my options totally opened up. So I thought of giving PTE. That was one thing. I applied for GMAT, and I gave GMAT, but the whole process was a different process, because before giving GMAT, like while I got my results, I was already in a university. So that made a like that made no impact on my whole vision of going abroad. So my I think the most important exam was PTE, I guess.
I understand. So I think a quick tip for the students could be, first you identify the countries and the courses and the colleges, and then
Right.
decide upon the exam. Don't freak out
Right.
before what exams you're gonna give. First make up your mind, figure out what kind of what do you want to study, where do you want to study, and then see what kind of exams would be needed. And
Yeah.
yes, very well said by Priyank. You don't always need a GRE or a GMAT. If your profile is well built, if your aptitudes is well demonstrated in your profile, and sometimes from our previous experiences, if your college can give a written recommendation that your medium of teaching was English, some universities do accept that. So you may
Yeah.
not even need an English test prep in some cases. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for example, UK, I guess, if I gave the example of UK, they take the senior secondary education marks as their IELTS exam marks, because it was like in UK, I didn't have to give IELTS, because if you are having 90 plus above in your 12th standard, very easily, like you are ready to go for a university or something.
absolutely. So yeah, a bunch of exams are there for anyone. TOEFL is widely accepted, or you can also give other English proficiency exam. But best is to check with university if they're okay with taking your profile. Okay,
Yeah.
so early research is really good, and as what Priyank said, and I would totally agree. Being a full funded scholar, you need to start preparing at least 1 year before if you want to land up in a good university, probably with scholarships or with everything figured out. Okay, last minute things are really risky in this particular case. So yeah, coming to the next thing about your university. Okay, Queen's University Belfast is like a 2 centuries old. If I
Yeah.
kind of see that,
Yeah.
it's a very old university, very reputed. How's the experience of seeing the university from outside versus experiencing the university from inside?
I guess the website shows it very clear that what is there in university, what is like how an international student comes in that university and how they are going to be treated. And when I came here, so the thing is the city Belfast is totally international city. People come here from like each and every place and they settle here. So when you move out, you don't see people just from United Kingdom. You see people from China. You see people from, I guess, European countries, and that makes it very different. So when you are living in a place which is totally international, and you're studying with those international students, it makes a different, I think, surrounding for you. The environment is totally like favorable for you. And the best part about the university, the experience was that from the very beginning of my, I think, the application, they were helpful to me. They were always like, what do you need? Are you fine right now? It's like they don't show you, they don't give you the chance to feel like, okay, you are left out, or you are not belonging to this particular city or something. They make you feel that, okay, you are here and you are somewhere, and this university belongs to you. So make sure that this university is ready to help you and you are able to take that opportunity and get the help from themselves.
Interesting. Okay. So a quick, knowledge about the students is like, when you're looking at the university, just don't look or, stress upon the rankings. A lot of university you may see, not really high rank, but your course would be really of greater value to that. Okay.
Right.
To give you a quick understanding, Swinburne University, I'm not sure all of you know, it's in Australia, and it is #1 university in astronomy. So
Right.
the thing is, every university has their own specialization or specialities, and you have to look into the courses to find out whether you would want to pursue that course in a university or not. Courses is really important. And then coming to the course, Priyank, international business, not many, I don't think hardly any colleges in India teaches about international business, particularly. So how was your exposure in choosing that very particular course against like people going blindly for MBA? Why this kind of course that you chose?
I guess I'll also like to add up something for the previous session, a previous topic. It was like, what you said is totally correct, that the courses do matter. And for a fact that I know that majority of the people don't know Queen's University Belfast, because I came to know when I started searching about the colleges that, okay, this is a university. And what is there is like, that's the best research university in UK. So what matters for a PhD student or a master student is how the research is done in a university, like how do they actually give importance to the research. And that is why I came to the conclusion, like this is the university I actually want to like study in. And right now, the on the current topic which you said, that international business, basically there's a myth in India that it's masters is done in India, but the whole myth is like it's postgraduate diploma, PGDM. You don't get a master's degree until and unless you have completed your work experience. I came here and I'm here, and it's easy for me to get a master's degree because I will be getting masters in science and international business. Center. Reason behind international business is, you said it correct, that majority of the colleges in India don't provide you that. Even though they provide, it's an MBA degree which like you can get it after 2 to 3 years of work experience. Here I thought that international, it's like globalized nature. I wanted to understand the policies, the procedure, the business strategies like the big MNCs have, like the Apple, I guess, all Microsoft and all those things. And apart from them, when you come here, you understand that international business is not just related to international business. It also has different variety of different layers like an onion, where you're able to understand, okay, international business just only doesn't deal with like how business is done outside. It also deals with how people are like valued outside a geographical area. For example, if I'm an Indian, I'm working outside, how human resource management is done, how apart from that how the business strategies are made. Apart from that, it also shows that how the accounting procedure is different from all other countries, because each country has a different accounting procedure, but it is accumulated, or it is I guess there is a merger because of the one gap foundation. That's it. So international business was there because I just wanted to understand the business nature globally, rather than keeping myself confined to just domestic nature of the business.
Interesting. So, how was your, cultural experience? Studying there. Definitely there are a lot of cultural exposure. Sometimes there might be culture shock also. So, how was those as an international student? How was the environment safe? Friendly, or livable, and then the growth prospects. How do you see that?
Okay, so from my example or from my experience, I can say that I came here on 9th of September. My college my college was start at 24th of September. So I got around 10 to 20 days to make sure that I'm totally settled here. And for that, university helps you out. So even though you are experiencing some culture shock, it goes away because of the fact that you are those 20 days is given to you to make sure that you are in contact with people from different countries. You are able to also know people from your country, so that you are having a particular safer area where, okay, if nobody is there, my country people are there. But apart from that, the biggest thing or the biggest importance is that you are able to understand people outside your country. You are able to know their culture. So basically, it's not a culture shock. I would say it makes you vibrant culturally, that you are able to understand other people culture. And that helped me out. My whole experience on my first few 20 days were like different orientation programs. They have a thing called friendship programs. So basically what happens in that is they like ask you to come on a certain date, and then you have a random friend made, and you don't know who, like that person is from which country or something, and that friend has to stay with you like for the whole day. So you are able to understand them, you are able to be in contact with them and talk to them. Apart from that, then there are few societies which help you out, or the student union which help you out to accommodate yourself if you are not able to find your accommodation. So I don't think it's like culture shock is a big matter if you are having a mentality that, okay, I'm going outside and there might be people who won't talk to me. If you are able to dwell yourself into that environment, then it will be totally fine for you, 100%.
Interesting. I think, yeah, I believe, and one of the very interesting point is the college communities and the societies.
Right.
They play a very, very big role, and university spends a lot in building these communities and societies very active. one of the things which I remember in Melbourne and Monash, we had every Wednesday, students used to cook barbecue in the
Right.
lawns, and then there are a bunch of drinks, and then it's like a free Wednesday food kind of a thing. Okay,
Yeah.
and free food. Let me tell you, it's one of the attractive stuff for all the graduate students. Wherever there's a free food, we all know when it's going to be. So yeah, so I think having that openness to talk to people and not being very scared is really important when you're going abroad. And colleges are usually the most safest environment. They are not like you will be in any sort of trouble until you intend to create one. So it's going to be a very safe environment for any
Yeah.
international student to be in. And people are usually very courteous. To give you an example, and I think this is one of the real life examples, and was kind of a culture shock for me at least. When I was there in Monash University in Melbourne, I saw one of the provosts, which is like a vice chancellor of the university, walking with a janitor hand in hand. Okay, this is something we don't usually encounter in our culture, or the areas where with hand in hand you're walking with a janitor and having a regular chit chat. So this is something is really kind of a culture shock, and people give respect to anyone and everyone at a very equal level. If you are serving coffee versus if you are having coffee, the respect is really important.
Yeah.
So you give people that much amount of respect to each other. So that might be a culture shock if you have not experienced it before. So
I
yeah.
guess. And one more thing was there, you might experience language shock, because what I've experienced here in, I say Northern Ireland, because there are few places where you will find Irish people and British people too. So what I've experienced is there's a language shock, because it's difficult to understand Irish English accent, I guess, because they have a different accent, and they have one word called crack. So they use it everywhere, and you won't be able to guess it. What does it mean? So basically, if you say what's the crack, that means how are you doing, what are you doing, and all these things, and you have to understand by that crack accent that what do they mean. So there might be some language shock, but I don't think I didn't feel a culture shock, but I felt a language shock. Okay, so how to understand that part?
Absolutely. So with the language, is it good that someone prepares a foreign language before, going there? Yeah, does awareness or learning or equipping yourself with any European language helps while you're studying abroad?
I guess if you are talking like from country to country, it does matter. If you're going to Germany, you need to understand basic German, because majority of the people speak German there, and it will be difficult for you to understand their language, or their normal language conversations, or their normal conversations. But in UK, I don't feel like I needed to understand something, because we know that universal language is English, and here the British language, like the Britishers only generally talk in English. It's difficult. It's different in Ireland though, because people speak Irish there, but you won't be able to get. See, the thing is, it's not that well-renowned language. People don't generally try to learn Irish. But if you're going for other European countries such as France, or I say Germany, you need to learn their languages, because that will give you a benefit, because it might also help you out to get those part-time jobs where people generally don't actually get into. So that's the benefit you will be getting if you are actually learning some kind of different language, I guess.
Yeah. So I think language is important if you are going for a very language-focused country. That is in Ireland or in UK, you have that advantage because these are predominantly English-speaking country.
Yeah.
You would be kind of sorted for your language issues. But language on a whole note, if you are learning language right now, it's a big boost for your job search. So probably you would have more ample amount of opportunities to even mix with the European cultures there.
Cultures, right.
I think one very important point here is part-time jobs. You clearly mentioned part-time jobs are kind of important for students who are taking loan and then coming to countries like Ireland and UK, which are expensive countries in terms of their lifestyle expenses. So how a student looks towards part-time jobs? What was your approach? How your friends did it? Like, just give us a little bit of scenario about that.
Okay, so when I started to search about my university, I also started searching people in Instagram and Facebook that who are from India, and they are there right now. So what did was I did my research and ask them like it took some time to make them feel comfortable with me to answer those questions, which are generally like what are you doing in your part-time job, how much are you earning, what is the like basic wage, or what is the basic pay. So it's like the process starts from understanding like if, you have to settle down for 1 or 2 months. You don't have to just go there and get in search of part-time job, because it's not that easy to understand that part-time job is available for you every time. Yeah, the thing is, if you're going into September intake, there are a lot of ample opportunities because people graduate at that point of time. So the students who were living in I guess in your area, they might be going back and you get an opportunity to work at the same place. That's the whole thing. And the
Interesting.
and apart from that, I think my part-time experience is that I have changed three part-times for now. I worked in a I think local takeaway shop, that is and then I worked in some well-renowned Indian cuisine. Okay, I worked as a bartender there, and apart from, and right now I'm working in KFC as a team member. So it happens gradually. You don't have to think about, okay, let me go in there and search for a job which will pay me a lot. And there are people need to understand that there are restrictions on working in part-time here. You can't just work because you come here as a student. They give you the opportunity to earn something so that you can make sure that you are not getting expenses from your home country. So they give you that opportunity. For example, in UK you have 20 hours of part time you can do in a week. Apart from that, if you exceed that, then there are I think chances that the UKVI might come and ask you, why are you doing this, even if you are a student. So you should be very much aware to that things like, okay, I don't want to overcommit myself to part-time jobs. Yeah, money is good, but you need to understand that you come here for studies, not just money. Because if you are able to go and get good grades, I think fortunately you will be landing onto a job which will be very I think well paid, I guess.
Okay. So when we're looking at we kind of missed one very important point, is this 15 years and 16 years of education acceptance in UK and Ireland. So people with like 15 years of education like BCom, BSc, BBA versus BTech or BE. So was there a restriction for you also, like did you have like issues with, okay, 15 years of education if I have to go, or if your friends, is there any restrictions as such for your university?
No, there is no such restrictions, I guess. There are restrictions in Canada, though, I would say that, because I applied for Canada, I got into a Canadian university, but the restriction was that you have to do postgraduate diploma. And I wanted to pursue masters. Here, you don't have any restrictions while, even if you have 16 years of study or 15 years of study, you're good to go. And the thing is, for example, what I told about Canada is Canada requires 16 years of study, and as a BCom student, I have only 15 years of study. So I was not able to, there was no chance that I would be getting an offer letter there. So, but in UK, it's totally fine if you are having a 16 years or a 15 years of study, you will be able to secure a good, I think, offer letter from a university.
Yeah, and the main reason behind that is because the bachelor's there is also of 3 years.
Right.
So in Ireland and UK. So that's where they kind of, be in coherence with us.
Right.
For people, applying for Canada, there are very few universities which still accepts 15 years of education, but you might have to write to them and ask them. Okay? You may check out, I think we did a webinar some weeks back about Canada. You can go to our YouTube channel and check out that webinar. A couple of universities that we mentioned that could help you out. But in general, you might need to do a PG diploma course before land up for a Canadian or a US university, and that would help you to get into any good university in Canada if you're looking at.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming to the part-time job, you really mentioned very important things, that you should not like go ahead and only look for part-time job. You focus on the career, because the kind of coursework that we have abroad is really intensive in start.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot of time. Okay? It's going to take a lot of energy. That might be again a little bit of shocker for a lot of people who are preparing assignments in India versus preparing assignments outside. So
Right.
you would be judged on the originality of the assignments, and plagiarism is a crime. At least in Australia, I know, and I hope it's a similar situation, in Ireland and UK also.
Yeah.
So plagiarism and all those things really don't work a lot. so you might have to be really careful. And assignments are difficult at times, so you have to work hard for that. So how was the experience with the assignments thing?
Okay, the first month was just it's the best part about, I guess, the whole course structure outside is you already know when you have to give your assignments and you start preparing yourself beforehand. And I guess my assignments, like what you told, that they demand originality. They don't take anything what you write. It's like you have to make sure that you're attending your classes, because what they teach in your class is what, it's like if you are getting to know what you have understood, what you have actually gained from this professor, you will be able to write it, because they will provide you a slideshow and there would be no narration. So by just show, like reading of the slideshow, you won't be able to write a good I guess assignment. You have like different parameters to like they have different parameters to judge on you. It's like first originality, then how much understanding, in-depth knowledge you have gained from your whole course structure, and how you have applied. Then what is your critical review according to that, because professor won't give you the critical review, because they think that you are the person who has to give a critical review. That if you are reading something from me, you need to go back and search about that and find out something which is different from this, and then come back and show me the same critical analysis. And then the last part, which is very important, and I guess people generally in India we don't do that, that is referencing, I guess, because the marks on referencing is 10% around, but if you do that wrong, basically professor can cut how much ever they want, because it's basically the university guidelines and they have to adhere that, and they have to keep in mind that those referencing are done properly. So there are like 5 to 6 parameters which they focus on, and then according to that they mark you on that.
Interesting. So let's come back to, we've covered majority of the university application. We'll come to, I think now, the university application process. How was your university application process in general? How intensive was it? What kind of document that someone needs to prepare or pre-prepare? Okay, how much time does it can take in those processes?
Okay, so the thing is, when you start for your university, for me, I like applied for 6 to 7 different universities, and I got an acceptance letter from 5 different universities. And the whole procedure took, like, I think it took around one and a half years. So when I got into Queens, like when I got an offer letter from Queens University, I deferred it, because I was not pretty sure that do I really want to choose that university at the very beginning, because you have your options and you wait for the best university, right? And it's like I don't judge the university according to their ranking. I judge the university according to their school rankings, because the pharmacy school, I guess the biological center school is different, the management school is different. So you need to understand that the ranking of the university might be very low, but you need to also keep a focus, like you have to focus on the points where the university school ranking is high. My application process was from the very beginning. It was like I had to submit first. It is like you have to make sure that you have a LOR, letter of recommendation, and it shouldn't be like any letter of recommendation. You need to understand that it matters a lot, because it is showing what you have done in your previous university, and it's better to get a university from a mentor, because they are able to like write down your experiences, right? For example, I made sure that I'm able to put an experience, or I'm able to convince one of the professor who was also my society in charge. So it helped me out to also put my extracurricular activities in my letter of recommendations, just in a brief manner, so that the university is able to know that university, like the professor was also understanding that he is not only into academics but also in extracurricular activities. Then comes your statement of purpose. You need to understand that statement of purpose is just not SOP. It's not like whatever you write, whatever you feel like. It's people, because generally what I have seen in different YouTube videos, it's like SOP means write down whatever you feel. It's not like write down whatever you feel. It's like you have to structure the whole whole SOP in such a way that you start from your very beginning, like how you started your how was your schooling, what is your history. Then you go and then you write down how was your university, what have you done in university, how did it change you, what is the perspective the university brought a change in your mindset, how did it change it. Then you write down the main and the most important part is why are you getting into that university, and you need to write honestly why are you. It's just not that whatever you feel like you write it. You need to understand that they're asking something because they're giving a place to you in a very good university, and they need to understand what is your future, what is your future perspective regarding the whole scenario, and according to that you have to write it. Then it comes your CV depends on how it's like it need to be vibrant, right? You need to understand that CV doesn't demand just I guess your academic history. It needs to be vibrant. You need to show how your EC, like what is your extra activities, how you have been a volunteer, how have you, like, if I guess if you have done some social work or some social not charity but social work, it boosts up your CV. Apart from that, then there are your few, I guess these are the main three which I for now know. And then there are few different one which is like visa, the application process has to be properly maintained. You have to go down and talk to the university at the very beginning. They will give you the application. You need to understand the fees of the application. You need to know that how much you are spending on it, because it's not like if I chose 5 to 10 university, it doesn't mean that those 5 to 10 universities are giving me just the application form for free. They charge you money for that, and you need to understand that there are universities which also give you for free. Then as you mentioned about IELTS and TOEFL and PTE, that's one of the one of the important part which you have to understand, that if you're giving IELTS, then it's good. If you're giving for UK, I guess you don't need IELTS because you get an exemption. But for different other countries, for Canada, for US, for I guess New Zealand or Australia, you need PT, TOEFL or IELTS, which is like worldwide accepted. These are the 5-6 things which you actually need to start from the very beginning. You can't delay it for the very last. You need to understand that you need to give around 1 to 2 months for your SOP, so that it's and it's better to make sure that you are it is proofread by somebody who is outside, who knows what is done. For example, foreign admits, they're very good at it. So if you are able to understand that, if you are able to complete your SOP, just make sure that you put that SOP to them, so that they're able to proofread it and they're able to give you that feedback, what has to be changed. The letter of recommendation, your application process, CV also. CV does count. So make sure that you proofread your CV. So all these things are necessary, I guess.
I think that's a very exhaustive and very thorough understanding that you've given. Just to add a very small point is here, okay. SOP is not about copying others' inspiration and then just jumbling certain words and putting it again. I've seen a lot of students, what they do, they take out 10 SOPs, kind of pick certain things from here and there, and that's how the story is formed. And trust me, admission committees are smart. They understand where your inputs are, and if they see any discrepancy, it kind of makes and breaks your application. The reason that a lot of universities are now able to accept profiles without these test scores are because of your applications and SOPs. So if your SOP and application is strong, you may not even need a test score. Else, you might have to write TOEFL or any other English language exam. So TOEFL is, I think if TOEFL is widely accepted in UK if they want to write an English prep exam, right?
It depends on if your SOP is actually good. They give you an exemption on TOEFL and I guess IELTS and PTE. So what you said is originality matters in your SOP. What have you actually achieved in your life? Because if you are able to jot it down in a proper manner, in a way which shows that you're not just here to just understand or just to study, you are also here to understand how this university is, how you're going as an international student, and you should understand that SOP demands something which is not just related to what you said, just cropping down some few words of some different SOP and writing it as your own. You need to understand that everything has to be written by you. It becomes more a personal thing rather than a professional thing. It has to be written in a professional manner, but the things which you write down are personal, which actually shows how you have grown up? How have you made sure that your things have changed in your life, or what all things have been in your life which has put an impact on your studies or your inspirations or your aspirations, I guess.
Absolutely, and these are also the things which may help you get a good scholarship. If you're applying for scholarships, these are the important points, and you can't miss them. You can't mess with them. You need to have time to prepare a thorough application. A thorough application will take time. It will take a little bit of efforts. Be prepared for that. That's fine. And if you need any mentorship support, you can always reach out to us. So, few last questions I would say about expenses. So, as an international student, how do you manage your expenses? Did you took a loan? How was the loan experience if you took? What was it look like? Can you give a little bit of understanding on this for this?
Yeah, so I took a loan of 7.5 lakhs. Basically, I didn't want to put anything on mortgage, so I just went on to SBI, State Bank of India provides you loan, and 7.5 lakhs you don't have to pay any mortgage. So I applied for that, and I applied for that because I got a scholarship for 40%, right? 10% of early bird and 30% of Queens Management School scholarship, where you have to give a small interview and they give that opportunity to you. So I thought of just getting for 7.5 lakh loan, but there are banks who give you like loan at good interest rate, so you can actually apply for that. I just took because I wanted to make sure my whole expense was around 12 to 30 lakh, 13 lakhs, and I was fine by deal. Like my father was fine, okay, 3-4 lakhs is fine, but 7.5 lakhs I just tried to put it on myself. Then apart from that, I guess people generally don't know, but there are, if you don't want to go for mortgages, which generally bank demand for when you are taking a higher education student loan, you can go for NBFCs, right? They don't provide you mortgage, but then there is a demerit that the interest rates are very high. So you need to, it's totally their call, I guess. It's totally personal call on what to actually take when you are actually applying for loan. There are people who generally don't take loan and go back thinking that they might come back, earn something, and then try to reduce the loan. But that's not the fact, because as he said that how I take care of my expenses. When you are here, when you are working part time, the amount of hours you get is just to make sure that you are able to earn and survive here, rather than making sure that you are earning a lot and taking money with you so that you can, I guess, complete your loan. It's not that thing. You just need to make sure that you are here, just earn so that you are able to have a good life here. Enjoyment is a good part, so you need to enjoy, and for that, I guess, you have your money. And apart from that, loan is the factor where you have to be very, very, very much precise, and you have to give the utmost importance where are you actually dealing with for your loan purpose. It's not, NBFCs are good, but again, I told you the demerit is the higher interest rates.
Absolutely. I think one of the quick pointers about loan is government banks are always the best resorts.
Right.
If you have collaterals, you will get loan at a lower interest rates.
Right.
If you can't provide collaterals, which a lot of students are having the issue, you can go for companies like Prodigy Finance, Leap Finance, there are a bunch of NBFCs like Incred and all, Credila. But keep an eye on the floating and the fixed interest rate. These are the two terms you might have to read, and do read. Okay, fixed interest rate might be 12, but if floating is +2 or -2, those 2% can make a big difference.
Difference, right?
So yeah, and again, the loan processes are also very lengthy. Okay, we are trying something as a product for Admits, so that students can easily come to the platform, compare and contrast all the loans at one go, so that you don't end up spending like 3 to 4 weeks, in your loan process, and within next 3 days you can get the loans. But yeah, stay tuned for that. It's gonna take some time.
For the loan process, I would also add that the whole thing, as you said, it's a lengthy process, and apart from that, I have seen that people who have good contacts in bank, they're able to get it very easily. But apart from that, who don't have, they have to suffer somewhere or the other. So you need to understand that I'm talking in general, because there are people who actually want to go out, and they need to understand that going out is a very lengthy process, and you need to understand why I said that you should start it from the one, like before 1 year, because you need to understand that these all things are done at last, because the whole loan process is not started at the very beginning, but you need to get the knowledge about from where to process that loan, how to process that loan, so that it gets easier for you, because at the end you might actually worry about the same thing. You might get scared that, okay, now I have to get loan, how to get it, from where to get it. So make sure that talk to your parents, talk to your father, talk to your mother, and understand that these are the processes. Let them know this has to be done, and I guess that would be easier for you to actually go for the abroad studies program.
Absolutely. And I think one of the downsides that the student worries with the loan is they try to as you rightly said, that they try to think that they might pay off the loan with the part-time jobs.
Right.
And they kind of the focus is shifts from the academics to part-time jobs and to other revenue models, and then they might suffer. So the idea is to go there to have a very decent lifestyle, okay, and part-time jobs is just like a hand-to-mouth situation and a little bit
Right.
more, so that it gives you a sustainability. Your academics going to get you that kind of salary in future, so that you can easily pay off your loans, provided you focus on your academics, you focus on networking, you focus on attending career fairs, building reputations and contact. Those are the things that you have to focus. Don't stress upon your expenses, and trust me, if you get a good job, loans can be paid off in 1 to 2 years also, okay?
Right.
And when you're going for a 1 year course, you may not even get time in some courses you may not even get time to do part-time jobs, because the course is so intensive that you would be busy in the course assignments and the evaluations and the tests and exploring the merits of the course and probably networking. So don't get scared that, okay, taking a loan is a bad thing, or you are not getting like a full funding, so it's not a good thing. People go abroad to get an upskilling and to get into an international exposure, and the kind of pay scale is definitely way higher than we see in India because of the purchasing power parity, and the lifestyle improves by a lot. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Okay, let's come to the last two very important aspects, is internships and the jobs. How a person looks for internships and jobs in Northern Ireland, and then what are the things that they need to keep in mind while being a new aspirant or a new international student?
I'm glad that you mentioned about the internships. I know you also mentioned about the part where you need to have networks and contact, because everything, see, in India we have thing called placements, and when you come to real world, it's not there. You need to understand that when you come here, it's all about a network and contacts. So I would suggest that if you are going, for me, I personally don't have an internship period here. My visa expires in March 2021, so I have just post-study work visa for 6 months. Now I would suggest that it's good for, like, if you're coming to UK right now, it's actually very good, because now it has increased to 2 years, so you get a post-study work visa for 2 years. Different courses have different structure of providing internship or placements, right? They don't provide placements though. It's like they provide internships. You have to find those internships by yourself. For example, in our university, few of my friends who are in CPIM, they told me that their visa might curtail if they don't get an internship. You need to understand it's a real world scenario that if you are having an internship, your visa extends. If you don't have it, they curtail it. So for example, if they get an internship, their visa extends to March 2022. If they don't, their visa is curtailed to March 2021. Internship period is totally different. You need to understand that have contacts with your professor, because professors are the best chance where you can actually get an internship. And I have seen it in I've seen here with different people who have actually got into, I guess, good PhD universities because of their professor contacts, and good internships because of their professor had a good, I guess they had a good image with their professor or something. And apart from that, the job perspective is totally different. Right now, if I talk about the coronavirus pandemic, it's totally different, because UK is right now into recession. So there is some kind of, I guess, there is a dilemma that if you will be able to get a job or not. But you don't get disheartened because of the same fact, because what happens is, if they are actually laying off people, there will be a time when they will be start getting people back, and then there is a chance for you to actually go into that company. Just make sure that you have your good contact, and by contact I don't only mean by the professors. You need to have your LinkedIn profile well maintained. You need to have those people added into your contact who are generally from the from your university, or those like also go for contacts who are like local there, because I have done that thing where I have had my contacts who are local businessman of, I guess, here United Kingdom, that is Northern Ireland. And the biggest fact is the sponsorship part, which I actually wanted to talk about to people about the sponsorship part. There is a difference here, because here what is there, that you need to get a tier 2 sponsorship to get a job, and UKVI has a listed document, like listed companies document, where those are the companies which only provide you tier 2 sponsorship. People generally get disheartened because they don't know the other route, and I got to know when I just completed my, like, within 3-4 months, because there's a different route called tier 5. So people who are actually generally going for United Kingdom, they should understand that there is also, if you don't get a sponsorship from someone, you don't have to get disheartened, because you have an opportunity to actually go and apply for tier 5. That how Because in that, what helps you out is if you get an employment certificate from some local, because I told that I'm going for local customers or local businessman. If you get an employment certificate, you can fund yourself, and British Council helps you in that. So what in that scenario, what happens is your visa is extended up to 1 year, is extended to 1 year, which can be again extended up to 2 years more. So you get the opportunity to work there and find yourself a person or a company who is ready to sponsor you for a long term period. So this is the case. But yeah, and I also want to mention the important fact that start your job search from the very beginning. Don't start your job search from part times, or don't start it for the part time, but make sure that you start your job search for the very beginning, because here the things are different. Even if you don't have a degree but you are studying and you have your first semester results or something, they might keep you after you come, like after your university gets over, they might keep you as an intern. So start searching for your jobs at the very beginning. There are different I guess websites which you can actually look onto for that.
I think, Priyank, you covered really important points here. Is the placements are not very similar to in India, and the mindset of preparing in the last minute or the last semester for placements is not a wise idea when you are an international student. So day one onwards, start networking, start building those connections, and while your internships period are going on, you can easily email them or LinkedIn them or try to find local connects. And this tier 5 is absolutely mind blowing idea for someone who can be easily find out local connects and can find a way out for their visa.
Right.
So yeah, perfect. Last, like, one or two questions about the scholarships, because a lot of students would intend to go for scholarships. So what's your take on because you got a 40% scholarship, which is by far a really good amount. And when you
Yeah.
mentioned you're 12 to 13 lakhs a year, that's pretty much like an Indian scenario.
Yeah.
Nowadays Indian universities are charging very similar amount for this kind of
Yeah.
and the kind of exposure that you get is multiple that you are getting. So that's something is really insightful for students, that with 20 12 to 15 lakhs itself you can go and study abroad and can get a better career. Just you need to work your way out. So
Yeah.
any thoughts about scholarships?
Yeah, so the thing is, there are few global scholarships, or I would say international scholarships for students from India. The majority of the people might be knowing about, I guess, the Commonwealth scholarship, which is, like, I guess, the most popular scholarship people get. But apart from that, there are few scholarships which are given from the universities to Indian students. For example, I would say Dr. Manmohan Singh scholarship. That's a scholarship which you can actually avail, and in that, I guess, you can actually avail £10,000. So it's amazing that I guess 50% of your whole I guess studies fees is just funded by the college. Then people who are actually eyeing for Oxford, they can go for Rhodes, a Rhodes scholarship, which is like, that's a fully funded scholarship, and that's one of the best scholarship. Then University of Starkadal, I guess, gives around for PhD, for by far I know, they give also fully funded scholarship. Then there are different, I guess, Chevening scholarship, which is also good. So there are opportunities for scholarship. You can grab it, but for that you need to have a very good SOP, because everything scholarship depends on your SOP. And I guess I think the main majority of the scholarships depend on your SOP. If your SOP is good,
Yes.
you're able to get it.
Absolutely. So in SOP again, to get that, because since I got two scholarships in past, they look forward to your future vision. Okay, they look forward to why you have applied, that reasoning behind your applications, the thought process is how well structured is your applications or your plans ahead. So those are the things that they will look at. And if
Right.
you're planning for your PhD, like a full funded PhD, your research areas, the topics that you're choosing, have you worked enough or not? Do you have a subject knowledge of those or not? All these things they will look into it. So
Right.
don't be very hasty in that. Take some time, prepare, think, put certain thoughts on that, refine those thoughts, sit with your mentors, whoever you want to get mentorship from, and have a one-to-one sessions with them. Make them understand this is what you want to do. Like one very simple analogy is, a lot of people intend to write that I want to make more money while doing my masters. Okay, yeah, you want to make money and money will come, but then you don't have to write directly like that. One of the
Right.
SOP
Right.
was really funny. I want to make more money, that's why I'm applying for it. So the alternative way of looking at it is, how can you grow in your career? Because definitely an associate manager versus senior manager, the money factor will automatically grow. So those
Right.
are the things that you also have to look and strategically write. So
Right.
those things can actually help you to make your applications become more thoughtful and
Right.
quality wise.
Right.
Okay, so last things, any tips that you want to give to the students before we start off the Q&A?
Right. I guess the major. I have already said that the best tip for each and everyone who is actually aspiring to go out and study is have patience. It's a very lengthy process, but you need to have that patience in you that okay, I want to start everything from the very start, and it will take some time, but at the end when you will get the result, it will be very fruitful for you. And the tips is like, don't rush into those things. Choose your universities wisely, choose your course wisely, choose, understand why, like, you need to question yourself again and again, why are you choosing that university, why are you choosing that course. And when you are able to like get the right answer from your side, you are able to understand like, okay, this is the process, and then start your application process. Just don't hurry into application process just so that you just want to go outside, because going outside is of no use when you don't understand why are you going outside. I have to, when I made up my mind, I wanted to make sure that okay, there are few things which I have to live independently. It's been 7 years, but when you come out of your country, the whole I guess the environment is different, and then you need to understand the whole same thing. So just be patient and understand the whole thing.
Interesting. So yeah, we are now open for Q&A. Someone has asked, anyone from psychology background can even study international business?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. See, the thing is, it doesn't matter what is your course, because everything, if you are applying for international business, the statement of purpose is there just for you to make sure that you are able to and make the understand the university that why do you want to choose this like course and this university. Because it's not just about the university, why are you going for that course. Because psychology also plays a very like important role in international business, because as I told you about the human resource management, the majority of the factor depends on the psychology. For example, expatriation and repatriation, that deals with the psychology of the people. So if I'm repatriating or expatriating, the human resource people are there, and if you are into a psychology, like a psychological stream, then you are able to understand that thing, and you are able to apply into that SOP that this is what I actually want to pursue. And see, I know that people might be asking me that why don't I go for human resource management. That confines you just to human resource management. You're not able to understand how human resource management also deals with globalized business. So here you are able to deal with globalized business too. That gives you an edge, also gives you an opportunity to apply for various different I guess job perspective, which is consultant, research manager, anything, just not for human resource.
Interesting. So let's start the Q&A. So someone has asked, I think we covered the 16 years and 15 years of question. And let's see what other questions people have. I kind of got disconnected, so I'm not sure I got all the questions.
I think I can say, like, people might be intrigued, like what is the course structure for a different university, like what is the course structure for a international business. By far, I would say that international business, yeah, there's a question. What are the subjects you learned in international business? Was it similar to what we learned in our graduation? So it's very different, I guess. See, in graduation, what we learn is marketing. What we learn is accounting. When you come for international business, what you study is international accounting, which is way different than your normal accounting. Then you learn international business strategy. This is actually one of my favorite subjects, because here you learn about how innovation is done. Here you learn about, in this particular course, you learn what are the business strategies actually the big MNCs are taking up to actually gain more revenue or have more power over the different developing countries. Then apart from that, we have human resource management, which I talked about, multinational enterprises, which is also a good thing, where you actually learn about different aspects of multinational, like difference between what is an MNC. We have learned everything in a layman language. Here you come and you'll understand in a very depth analysis. You do a very depth analysis of international and these international enterprises are not just like the very big enterprises. There are enterprises which we haven't even heard about, and then you hear about them and then you go and research about them. So that's the difference, I guess. Then we have research methods and techniques, and I would say everyone out there that that's a universal course for each and every, I guess, module, or I would say it's a universal module for each and every course, where you understand the technique about how to do research and what are the methods of doing research, which will then help you out if you want to complete your dissertation, which I'm doing right now, and also if you want to pursue your PhD. And for PhD you need to put synopsis, and that helps you out in your synopsis, I guess. So these are the few, I think, modules or the courses which you will actually study in international business.
Yeah, I think understanding the courses is going to be a very important task, and it's best to understand from students who are actually studying there, or else do your own Google research about those courses. Just not go with the names that, again, saying that a lot of students are under misconception about 2 or 3 courses are the only ones. There are a lot of specializations nowadays are prevalent. If you're a fresher, MBA is not the solution. You can go for MIM, Masters in International Business, International Marketing is also there. Then Masters of Science and Business Analytics is also there.
Right.
So there are a bunch of courses, and those are the really high ROI courses. When I say return on investments, MBA can cost you a fortune, like $50,000 to $200,000. Okay,
right.
And as a fresher, it would be difficult for you to get a job sometimes. Okay? But these courses would cost you 10% or 20% of the entire MBA, and that way you can still spend less and have a good job outside. Okay, so you don't go with the regular trend. Do your own research about what course is going to fit in for you, where your strength lies, and then you can probably have a good choice. And again, it's an investment, so take time, be cautious while you're investing your resources and your time in this, and make it fruitful for you guys. Okay, so I think we come to the end of the webinar with this. Thank you everyone for organizing this. It was a pleasure to have a bunch of amazing audience, and thank you, Priyank. It was a last minute call, but thank you for taking out time and helping out these many students. And if anyone wants to have a one-to-one consultation with Priyank for studying UK or having an understanding about international business, just log on to partneradmits.com and you can easily book Priyank for a call. I'm sure after this call, Priyank would be available on the platform. And if any one of you are planning to study abroad and looking for scholarship supports and all, just book a consultation call. We have prepared a lot of resources for you guys. If you go to our website partneradmits.com, I think we have listed more than 6,000 scholarships, category wise, field wise, so that your search for scholarship can become easier. Okay, and yeah, please do fill up the feedback form so that we get to understand how this session was, and if we can improve or give you more values in future, Priyank and me both, and we can definitely do something more for you guys. Thank you everyone. It was a pleasure having you, Priyank, and thanks again.
Same here. Thank you so much.